Hi guys, we are playing with Chaturanga dandasana and we'll move through it through a few different variations. We'll start really simple and then kind of work our way up. In order to do this today, I would grab 2 blocks so that you have some support. All right, come into a plank pose so that the wrist creases are parallel to the top edge of the mat, shoulders and wrists stack. You tuck the toes under, lift the hips up. And actually, I like to just shift back to a down dog so you know if your plank is in the correct position for your body. Once you're here, press the ground away. Place the knees down on the ground. And as you place the knees down on the ground, shift your weight forward, bend your elbows to 90, and then press straight back up. If you're like, I'm not really sure what 90 is, you can also put your blocks at the medium height, kind of in front of the body. This way you know that you don't dip past 90. So from your plank, knit the ribs in, or modified plank. Shift the weight forward, bend the elbows to 90, tap, and then come back up, okay? And as you go down, the idea is that you stay broad in the chest. So you spread across the collarbones, and you also spread across the back body and the shoulder blades. So we're playing with everything being neutral. Like if I was like this, I would literally just fall down into that position without having to shrug, okay? So we keep everything pretty big across the chest. And then we'll do that one more time. The weight shifts forward, spread across the collarbones, and then press back up. Move the blocks to the side. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back. And then shift the weight forward so you find the proper alignment for your body. Place the knees down on the ground. This time, we're gonna play with the T shape of the blocks. And for every body, it's different. Literally, every body type is different. The idea is that one block is along the front side of the body in the sternum, and the other block is across the chest. For some women, this is really uncomfortable to have the block across the chest, so you can work with just the block along the sternum. Okay? And then finding that can be a little interesting. So what I actually like to do is lie down onto the blocks to start. Walk the hands back and then press up from there. So now I know where my alignment is. Shift the weight forward, bend the elbows to 90. Find the block and then press back up. Once you have that awareness, we add in only lifting the knees, okay? Shift the weight forward, bend the elbows to 90, only lift the knees. Put the knees down, straighten the arms. And so you can go through that a couple of times and you might be like, that is really easy. So then you move the blocks to the side and you do the same thing without the blocks. Okay? So the hands come down to the ground, you shift your weight forward, and then only lift the knees, put the knees down, and straighten the arms. And it's kind of like from 0 to 100. So you're either ready for that or you grab the block and bring it back. Okay, so this is Chaturanga dandasana. The other thing that can happen is that shifting the weight forward might feel a little weird in your body. So if you are struggling with this concept of shifting the weight forward in the body, right? We set up the blocks and place the heel of the hands pretty close to the blocks. They don't have to exactly touch, but pretty close. And actually move the blocks to the side so that your torso could fit between your arms. Okay? And then shift the weight forward, bend the elbows to 90, and then press back up. So as you press back up or lean down, the blocks stay neutral. What happens if they don't? Well, we get real honest with ourselves, and as we shift the weight forward, the blocks drop back. And this is like a very kinesthetic or physical way to be like, okay, I need to work on this idea of shifting the weight forward. And this also can put a lot of strain on the pecs and the chest muscles. So just be mindful, take it super easy to start, and kind of work your way into it. All right. So one of my favorite ways to integrate this into the sun salutation is that, so we come into, say, a plank pose. We put the knees down, chaturanga dandasana, only lift the knees, knees down, take bhujangasana cobra, okay? That's one option. If you're like, ma'am, I do upward facing dog every time. Well, you can still do it from here. So we take the hands forward, wrists and shoulders stack. From plank pose, knees come down, weight shifts forward, only lift the knees, press and lift into your back bend, and then slowly lift up and out, okay? So it doesn't matter if this is if this is something that is new to your practice and you're like, I'm trying to integrate it in, it's gonna slow down your sun salutation a little bit, but in a good way, because you'll be able to move with integrity throughout your sun salutation, okay? All right, and then the last way is your traditional chaturanga dandasana, which can be pretty challenging. So just be mindful of this. So we'll come into a plank pose, and this is assuming that you didn't jump back, that you walk back to plank pose. So you walk back to your plank pose. My personal opinion is that feet apart feels a lot better than feet together. Shift the weight forward, bend the elbows to 90, and now take your back bend. Exhale, lift the hips up, okay? So there are a lot of variations and modifications to Chaturanga Dandasana, so I would invite you to kind of play with one of these and integrate it into your regular practice. So hopefully you enjoyed that little breakdown and you found some useful information there. If you like more of that, head over to Yoga International, like, comment, and subscribe.